Today is the 14th August 2026. I'm doing another practice of just making another video. I just want to get back in. The last week I felt very bad. I was mentally very down and very negative in my mindset and just headspace. And in the last days I got a little bit sick. I had a small infection. Luckily I caught it early enough. I caught it on Monday and just immediately took the right medicine, and so I have to be a little bit careful still the next days and keep taking a little bit of it more the next days. But I'm over it. It's very much mentally and physically. I don't really feel much from it. I feel a lot better now. I'm a lot more positive again. Just like the negative weight seems to have disappeared. And yeah, so I think I can continue this video. So this is just to get a little bit back in, so just to make one and get back into the habit of doing these practices and start extending them. Hopefully in the next days. I want to take it a little bit easy now, take it a little bit slower. I don't want to put pressure on me, at least not in the next days. So I just keep it very simple. I'm not sure where to go from here, to be honest. I've very much lost kind of my vision, what I want to do, even for what I want to do anything, like in the beginning of the week. And a lot of that feeling is now gone, so that was very much just an expression of my negative emotions, which I have to say I always find fascinating to experience, how I can on Monday feel like none of this makes any sense. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is horrible. I have no idea what I should do, whether this will go, but just fail with all of this, like just feeling like everything is kind of bad and in a way ending, and I feel like lost. And on Friday it's like a little bit feel like that never happened, just gone. I find it always first just fascinating to experience that, how like quickly views and expectations and just how quickly it can shift how I see the world and how I can feel about it. Like on Monday I feel like it kind of goes down and I really don't know what I'm doing and for what I'm even doing it, and none of this makes any sense and there's no meaning in all of this. And on Friday now I'm like, yeah, it kind of feels very not necessarily that positive right now, like in, oh, everything will be great or something like that. I don't really know where I want to go. But also, yeah, but just do it. I would just take it slow. We're just gonna get a little bit better, and I don't know, in weeks, months, years, everything will be fine. I will probably have just found my way, I would just have found my way and just where I want to go and what I want to do. That's like, I think, one of the issues more with this, with what I want to do with YouTube currently is very much, I'm completely not sure if I actually want to go the direction of, do I want to have a channel that's about connection and about emotions and about behavior and more like like a deep emotional channel, and make it in that direction in whatever way or form or format or whatever. So more emotional, behavior, mental kind of channel that's more about connection and authenticity and very like raw and yeah, just more about the emotional and the behavioral side and the mental stuff. Or do I want to do more a game dev channel? I'm very much split in these directions, and I honestly have no idea what I even want to do with them. They just have very different challenges. They have very different challenges in what they present and different opportunities. I feel like on one side, game dev, I am coming from that from the YouTube side, and I have left it for now, at least, because of how much time it takes. Because it's not just that, well, I would have to do game dev and then do videos about it. Yeah, if I want to do a video, first have to have some kind of project that just to produce the content that I can then make videos about, which just takes a lot more time, like a lot more time, to make a channel about game development. And for me, that's a very big limitation, having to spend a lot of time to even get videos out. Just like on the practice side, it's something that very much makes me hesitant. That's the reason why I left it. That is the main reason why I left the vision of making a game dev channel, was just the amount of time it takes. It was the limitation of how much time I consistently have to put into it to even be able to create something with. That is the thing where I see that's the reason why it will fail. How much time I consistently can put in. And in the first years of going for this YouTube channel, I tracked my time. Currently, I'm not tracking any of my time that I'm using for this. And in my first years where I have tracked it, I only got to an average of 8 hours of work time per week. And I was very precise in tracking my time, so that is a very accurate data, and I got to an average of 8 hours per week. Which most of the time meant when I actually was working, I got like 20 to 30 hours a week, and a lot of weeks I just didn't work at all. That was kind of how it looked like. But on an average, I got 8 hours, and I'm very hesitant, and I just can't. I cannot rely on having more time for YouTube. I just cannot rely on having more time than 8 hours per week. And for that, a game dev channel might not be feasible. That's kind of why I'm going this direction right now, because I just feel like, just from the time limitation, I might not be able to get to do it. And which on the other side has and the issue behind it is not just, well, with that it's difficult to produce videos. That's not even the issue that I have with a game dev channel. The issue that I have there is more, I need a lot of practice, like I'm doing right now, to put in the videos, to just get into going and just make me comfortable in it. And if I do a game dev channel, I don't have enough. I cannot practice enough. I cannot make enough videos. I cannot do it often enough, so that I can even develop the skills. Currently, I'm focusing more on the emotional side and like just being comfortable in making them, and just slowly, step by step, expanding my capability of being comfortable in thinking about how I plan, how I can make videos. But on top of that, at some point I will have to come to the stage where I'm really focusing on video production skills and video skills and like storytelling and audience, and understanding my audience, and researching how I can make videos in a way that my audience would resonate with them, and stuff like all of this stuff like that. I would have to come to a point where I can do that. And I'm very hesitant with the game dev direction, because I think the limitation of how much time would have to put into a single video, and not just into a video, but also like just in the development, so that I can have content that I can make videos about. That is like the big limiting factor that I feel, where it limits me too much, that I'm able to get there. But with like a game development channel, I'm all, because even right now, I'm feeling like I can get a little bit active more again. I was sick like the last days and felt very emotionally down, and now I'm feeling like I'm getting out of it again, and I can start having like my normal daily life again. And what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about game project. I'm thinking about how can I now, what directions can I take into art, and it's very much consuming me, and very much I'm very much driven and like pulled into, I want to do something creative. I want to like improve my art skills, so I actually can get more into game projects that I actually want to do, and overcome that challenge. And so I'm very pulled, and it's very easy for me to invest time into that. So that makes me currently like pull, like, or it makes me think like maybe I want to do a game dev, because it just has this pull on me. I just will not be able to stop doing it. Which, not necessarily is a bad thing. The negative side also on game dev is, well, if I make game dev videos, or that doing game dev has to be for videos, because all of this time limitation that if I make game dev and I have to develop and do stuff to actually have content that I can make videos about, which is like kind of the bottleneck for a game dev channel, that you have to develop enough to make videos about it. And there I'm just not sure if I can reach that. And yeah, so the one bottleneck is the time. The other is, again, where I feel like if I do that, if I go this route down, it might make game dev worse. Because then I feel like everything that I do, every kind of ideas, every kind of project that I do will have to be content for a YouTube channel. And that might make, or in a way destroy or taint my excitement and this kind of draw and this enjoyment that I get from game development. And I have a little bit of fear and worry that that might be something that could happen, and that so making this as a content for game development, I just worry a little bit about that. Well, again, then in the other direction is more so what I'm currently is also like the branding for this channel, that I'm talking about myself and perspective and emotions and behaviors and how they connect, and about that kind of topic and that kind of areas, and more like mental stuff, more like internal things, emotional topics. So about emotions itself and about behavior and about thoughts, how they connect and how they shape and how they make me view the world and things like that. I fear doing that very much like on the game dev side. Also, I'm worried that the big stories that I could tell really get reach for that are very emotional stories, and there are only that few stories that I could tell. Like, I do think I have quite a few very interesting stories of my life that I could tell that could reach a lot of people. I do think that that is a thing in my life, but there are also so many of these stories that I could tell, and doing so would have to be very open. I would have to be very open, have to be very public about very deep personal issues, even in some way. Like, no matter how I would frame it, some of the potential of reach and viewerships on that channel would very much be very deep, very personal, also very frightening topics to show, which kind of is the sense of that in overall. But I just fear on one side that it could be very dangerous to open up to such a way where that just can become very difficult and very, yeah, there's just a lot of threat in making that my content, making like my deepest emotions my content, because there are only so many deep emotions that I can make into content, that might have some issues. I very much am attracted to both sides, because there are things in both directions that I would really like actually to make videos about, and that are just fascinating me. Maybe there's a middle way. Maybe there's something, if I just continue a little bit and think more about it and experiment a little with it, maybe there is a middle way. Because on one side, I feel like the normal kind of game dev vlogs and like game dev videos on one side is not even that much interesting. It's not even, I think, like where my personal, my unique, my me value kind of that I can provide, where this is like a unique, my personal, like from YouTube, it's about you, it's in that case, it's about me. What is the unique thing from me that I could bring to game development? It's kind of the combinations, I think, of these topics at all. It's kind of making game dev videos, sure, that focus on like the technical side, that focus on like the game development stuff, but I think if it just like, I think like what I could bring most uniquely to a game dev channel is the emotional side. It's like how, it's like also more so the story of, but how much to struggle with making that. What are like the emotional issues with making a games, and how do I solve them, or how do I struggle with them, how do I overcome them, or even how do I fail with them, and stuff like that. And maybe even then also going a little bit outside and like kind of, again, like bridging these two topics where maybe I don't want to like have a complete game dev channel. Maybe I don't want to have a complete mental, emotional, behavior, thought kind of channel. Maybe the solution to this issue and to this indecisive, I really don't know which direction do I want to go. I kind of would like to go both directions. Maybe there's a middle ground. Maybe there's where most of a lot of the videos that maybe like reach people could be on like more on the game dev technical side, like on the programming side, really deep dive into design stuff and to technical issues, but also on the emotional side, like just on the motivations. What is about the issues of motivation with long-term projects, or again, what I'm currently doing. Like, I'm a programmer. I'm trying to overcome my weakness of art that I'm now for years trying to push aside and trying to work around and failing that and being blocked and how I can even do my art. And I just currently, I think, like on the game dev side, for me personally, I just have to learn art and just have to learn really, really deeply, and not just learn it, but also find a way how I can enjoy it. I really have to learn how I can enjoy making art, because currently I always feel like I don't want to do this, and it's scary, and there's hesitation. I'm anxious about it, and I don't want to do it, and that keeps me back from just making games. I can't make games because I can't make the art for my games. So I have to learn that and have to overcome that issue, and that kind of story in of itself, from besides just of like how could I do art for like a programmer, what are like art styles and stuff like that, which I think a lot of times would be like the focus for like game dev channels. But I think my unique perspective and my unique value that I can bring, like my kind of unique selling point, lies in combining these two areas, in looking at the emotional sides and what it means and where it comes from, and how I could address them or try to address them and try to work with them around game development. That could be a perspective where I could bridge these two topics, which also would allow me to have more content from game development. Because if I cannot just make content about, well, the product, like the game or the tools, the art and the enemies and the designs and the features and all of that, like content, like game dev stuff, if I can only make videos about that, well, I have to develop a lot of that. But when I struggle to like even do that, and I can make the struggle and overcoming of that and the demotivation and the motivation and like the emotional side of the journey into videos and talk about that, and then connect my passion for game development, but also my very deep interest and my passion for the topic of mental sides, and connect them together. First, I think there's not a lot of channels out there, and I think that's just a very unique approach that I can bring to the table, and that I would find also very interesting. And maybe I have a little bit of all three parts on my channel. But yeah, maybe that will be the gap that I will have to find. I will just have to find a way how to do that. All right. I don't know what that will mean in the next days, where I will go with my practices. Again, I will keep it slow and I keep it easy. I don't want to put a lot of pressure on me in the next days. I will just keep it very easy and very slow. I will just see what it will mean. Yeah, and that's it for today. I hope you have a nice day.